Hello, welcome to Pauper Guru. I am your host, Matthew Stoner. Today we have another deck tech. We're going to be discussing Dreadwing. 1 mana, 1/1 flyer, pay a red, a blue, and 1 of anything to give him +3, +0, and flying until end of turn. This deck is a Voltron ping control deck. It's funky, but it has a lot of different things that it does in the game. We're going to begin with the ramp package. We're going to run Traveler's Amulet, Renegade Map, and Wanderer's Twig. All do the same thing. Pay 1, tap them, sacrifice them, search your deck out for a basic land. Reveal it and put it in your hand. Dark Ritual, just when you need those explosive turns to do things. And black is kind of the heavier. Black and blue are the heavier two colors in this deck. There is some red, but black and blue are your main two colors you need. Prime Blade. An equipment that costs 1 to play, 2 to equip, and whenever equipped a creature does combat damage, you get a treasure, which means more mana for you. Prismatic Talisman. You can tap it to get 1 colorless mana and gain 1 life. 2 of the 3 lockets that make up this 3-color combination is it. And Demir. I did have Rakdos in here for a while, but I took it out because it really wasn't ever helping me. Hires Pants Chalice. Enters the battlefield. Target opponent loses 1 life and you gain 1 life. Like I said, there's some pinging in this deck. And then it taps for 1 colorless mana. Barb Saxton. You can pay 1, tap it, and sacrifice to add 1 mana of any color to your mana pool and draw a card at the next upkeep. A little bit of draw there and a little bit of mana fixing. Vesper Ghoul. 1 black, 2 of anything. Tap it. Pay 1 life and add 1 mana of any color to your mana pool. Now, on to the enchantments of the deck. There's a lot of them. And they're in no specific color order, but they are the enchantments that are ran in this deck. 1 copy of Aqua Form, 1 blue mana, enchanted creatures unblockable. Deadweight. Enchanted creatures -2/-2. In most circumstances, this will kill a majority of the creatures in this format. Fate Foretold. Enchanted creature, whenever you play this, you draw a card. Whenever enchanted creature dies, you draw a card. Vampire Link. 1 black mana, enchanted creature has lifelink. Faris. 2 mana, enchanted creature has infect. 3 mana. Enchanted creature gets +1/+3 and gains death touch. Kazimil's translation. I'm sorry I butchered that hard. But enchanted creature becomes a 1/1 and loses all of its abilities. So you can turn your opponent's commander, essentially, if their deck's built around it, into a 1/1 with no effect. Skeleton Grimmace. Enchanted creature is +1/+1. You can pay a black to regenerate the creature. Starlight Mantle. It has flash. Enchanted creature gets hexproof until end of turn. And enchanted creature gets +1/+1. Curse of the Bloody Tomb. Enchantment Aura. You enchant an opponent. They mill 2 at each of their upkeeps. Exmorpheus. It's enchant, turn him into a 0/1 with no ability. It's fun to turn your opponent's commander into a fish. Thassa's Devourer. It's a 2/6 for 5. whenever it or you play an enchantment, target opponent mills 2. Really good because, I'm running like 12, 15 enchantments in this deck. Jace's Erasure. I've let sit on the board, and because I'm drawing lots of cards in this game, it'll get rid of some problems for me in advance. Cloak of Mist. 2 mana. Enchanted creatures unblockable. Seal of Fire. It's an enchantment that can stick around and sacrifice and act as a shock when I need it to. And Suicidal Charge. I can sacrifice to have all my opponent's creatures get -1/-1, and then all they have to attack this turn if able. Now, on to the draw cards of this deck. Opt. Just 1 man, scry 1, draw 1. Vision Schemes. 2 mana, everyone draws 2 cards. Tomb Raider and Cloudkin Seer are the exact same card for 3 mana. And a flyer, draw a card. Reach Through the Mist, draw a card. Thirst for Meaning, draw 3 cards. And then discard 2 if you don't control an enchantment, but you usually will with this deck. And Phyrexian Rager. Enters the battle, pay 1 black. Not pay, my bad. Looking at a different card in advance. I apologize. 3 mana, enters the battlefield, lose 1 life, draw 1 card. Now on to the lifelink and death touch creatures in this deck that really serve purposes for this deck. Rancid Rats, a 1/1 for 2 mana with death touch and skulk. Hired Poisoner, a 1/1 with death touch. Typhoid Rats, a 1/1 with death touch for 1. Baleful Errant with Bestow, an enchantment as well, and 1 more death touch. Now on to the lifelink creatures. Banehound, it's 1/1 for 1 with lifelink and haste. And Farbog Revenant. Revenant, it's a 1/3 with lifelink and skulk. And now on to the miscellaneous creatures of the deck. It doesn't really have a set category. There's only 2. Tormented Soul is a 1/1 unblockable, but it cannot block. And Toxic Nim for 2 black, 4 of anything, 4/1 with Infect, and pay a black to regenerate. Now, we're going to go on to the pingers of this deck. Sorcerer of the Fang. Pay 5 and a black and tap it. Each opponent loses 2 life and you gain 2 life. Soul Cage Fiend. 2 black, 1 anything, 3/2. Whenever he dies, each player loses 3 life. Infectious Horror. Whenever 1 black, 3 of anything, 2/2. Whenever it attacks, each opponent loses 2 life. Trespasser's Curse. Enchantment Aura. Enchanted player, whenever a creature enters the battlefield of that player's control, that player loses 1 life and you gain 1 life. Inquisitor of Blood, because there is some life gain in this deck, he'll trigger off and ping out more opponents. Power of Fire. Enchanted creature has tap, deal 1 damage to target creature or player. And probably one of the strongest creatures in this deck, Plague Spitter. At the beginning of each player upkeep, at the beginning of my upkeep, everyone takes one, all their creatures take one. If you put something like Vampiric Link on it, you will gain 1 life for each 1 damage dealt. That also applies for the Infect in the deck, the Death Touch, or any other abilities that would be added to this. Is why I feel like he's one of the better cards in this deck. Curse of the Pierced Heart. Enchanted player for 2 mana. It just sticks on them and they take 1 damage every time their turn starts. I've actually killed someone with this because they couldn't find a way to deal with it. Root Water Hunter. I can tap him to deal 1 damage to a creature or player for a blue and 2 of anything. Obelisk Gauntlet. I can tap it. Just have target player lose 1 life. It's an artifact for a black and 2 of anything. Ill-Gotten Inheritance. It actually has won me several games. It says, for 1 black and 3 of anything at the beginning of my upkeep, each opponent loses 1 life and I gain 1 life. I may pay a black and 5 of anything and sacrifice to have target opponent lose 4 life and I gain 4 life. Lobber Crew. It is a 0/4 for a red and 2 of anything that says tap. Each opponent deals 1 damage to them. You can, whenever you cast a multicolored spell, you get to untap it. I very rarely get to ever really untap it with this deck. Blightseeker. It's 2 mana, 1 black, 1 colorless for a 1/1 that says tap, deal 1 damage to target opponent. It also has another ability of paying 4 and tapping it and searching your library for a rebel card, but this is the only rebel in the deck, so his main purpose is to sit and ping my opponents down. Phyrexi's Gift. Enchanted creature has tap, deal 1 damage to target creature or player for 2 mana in blue. And the last pinger, Vampiric Opteryx. I can pay 7 and each opponent loses 2 life and I gain 2 life. And I'm sorry that I butchered that last part to whoever read that. I know I might get questions in my comments about my speech and I do apologize. Now on to the removal of this deck. Reeve's Soul. 2 mana, black and colorless to exile target creature power 3 or less. Jaya's Greeting. 1 red mana, 1 colorless, deal 3 damage to target creature, and then scry 1. Terminate, an old staple in Magic, and one of my favorite cards to run. Red and black, destroy target creature, it can't be regenerated. Negate, counter target non-creature spell. And there's a lot of times where removal and stuff like that will get in your way in this deck, and stuff like that will help you. Shock. 1 red mana, 2 damage to anything. Vicious Rumors. 1 black mana. Vicious Rumors deals 1 damage to each opponent. Each opponent discards a card, then puts the top card of the deck in the library, and you gain 1 life. I think for 1 mana, that does a whole lot in a match. Now, as for the last piece of removal, it's also a tutor. Perplex. 1 blue, 1 black, 1 colorless. Counter target spell is controller discards their hand or transmute for 3. Transmute is an ability where I can pay the transmute cost and search my deck out for anything with a 3 mana cost. There's a lot of targets in this deck. Now, on to the last 3 cards, and they're miscellaneous cards in this deck, but they really do serve a purpose when played. Clear the Mind will shuffle my graveyard back into my deck and let me draw a card for blue and 2 of anything. Radiant Lightning for a red and 3 of anything. I deal 3 damage to target opponent, 1 damage to each of their creatures. It's a mini board wipe. Magnesium Skin for 1 blue mana. I can give target creature +0/+1 and hexproof during the turn, or I can overload it for a blue and 1 of anything to give my entire board hexproof during the turn. Now, that's the deck. Now on to the mana bases. We run 1 command tower because it taps for 1 mana of any color. We run 4 different fetch lands in this deck: Evolving Wilds and Terramorphic Expanse, Warped Landscape, and Ash Barrens. We run the 3 Guild Gates with Dimir, Izzet, and Rakdos. We run the 3 life gain lands with Dismal Backwaters, Bloodfed Caves, and Siltwater Cliffs. We run 11 islands, 7 swamps, and 4 mountains. Well, I hope y'all enjoy. Like, share, and subscribe. Thank you.